Good morning and welcome, Fossil Ridge. I hope everyone is doing well this morning and you are all ready for a fantastic day of learning and growing together here at Fossil Ridge. Today we're going to spend about 15 minutes introducing you to some of our processes and procedures here at Fossil Ridge to help everyone get off to a fantastic start. We're going to talk about a few things that we've already mentioned on our very first day back to school, just to review a couple of things, introduce a few new items, and just help everybody get more comfortable, more acquainted with our school and the way things work around here. But I just, again, want to reiterate what I've already said, and that is that we want this to be the best year ever for all of our sixth graders and our seventh graders, the best year ever for our faculty and staff. We're just so excited to get a new year started once again. The first thing I want to do is introduce everyone to the Fossil Ridge 5. At Fossil Ridge, we are respectful, resilient, responsible, kind, and safe. And we call these character traits the Fossil Ridge 5. You're going to see them in a lot of places throughout the school. You see big posters of them in the Commons area. And these are going to be the 5 character traits, the 5 values that we learn more about throughout the year. And as we learn more and more about these Fossil Ridge 5, they will become an even bigger part of who you are, how you act, how you go about your business as a Fossil Ridge student. And these things just will kind of define who we are and how we operate at Fossil Ridge. This will be our focus for our social emotional learning throughout the year. It will be a focus on these 5 things. And so as we get going here in the next couple of weeks, we will introduce you to each one of these one at a time. We'll learn about them, we'll practice them, and we will make them a part of who we all are. But we call these 5 things the Fossil Ridge 5. We're respectful, we're resilient, we're responsible, we're kind, and we're safe. The next thing I want to talk about is what we do when we get to school first thing in the morning every day. Some of you ride the bus, some of you may walk, some of you may ride a bike or a skateboard, while others may be dropped off out front. So the question is, as a new student or as any student, what do I do when I arrive at school each morning? Well, first of all, you can eat. Breakfast will be served every morning in the Commons until about 5 minutes before the first bell rings. But we have breakfast, so when you get here, you can eat. Make sure your breakfast and your lunch account has money in it. But once you get here, you can eat. If you don't want to eat, or if you've finished eating, you can just simply remain in the Commons area, sitting at the tables, talking with friends, working on homework, socializing, or you can go outside on the blacktop or the PE fields. Students are not allowed in the hallways or the library in the morning without a pass. So when we get here in the morning, we're going to either stay in the Commons until the first bell rings, or we're going to go outside. The only time we will be allowed to go to a classroom or to the media center is if we have a pass from one of our teachers or from our librarian, Mrs. Cleveland. Otherwise, we stay in the Commons until the first bell rings. And then remember, we talked about this in our first orientation. Make sure once we get on campus, once we arrive to school, that we have powered our phones off and we have put them in our backpacks for the rest of the day. So when we get here in the mornings, we're either going to remain in the Commons area or we're going to go outside on the blacktop PE fields. And remember, breakfast is served every morning, And so you are welcome to, once you get here, to get in line, get yourself some breakfast, and eat. The other thing I want to talk about is just a reminder that Fossil Ridge is a no cell phone zone. We talked about this in orientation number 1, but I just want to remind everybody again that once we are on campus, we are a no cell phone zone. Phones can be a really big distraction to the educational environment, and so we're going to ask that if you do bring your phone to school, that once you get here, that you turn your phone off, that you put it away, and that you keep it off for the remainder of the day. So from the minute you get here until 2 p.m., phones need to be off and put away during the school day. Couple of new things that I'd like to talk with you about. And that's kind of our expectations for lunch. We introduced kind of how lunch works in our first orientation, but I just wanted to cover a couple of things about the expectations that we have when we're in the commons area during lunch. First and foremost, when we're eating lunch, all food must be eaten in the commons at the lunch tables. We don't eat outside. We don't eat on the floor. We don't stand up and eat. All food must be eaten in the commons, and while we're eating, we must be at the lunch tables. When we're done eating, we all need to make sure that we are cleaning up after ourselves. We want to leave the area we are in better than we found it. And so once we finish eating, we want to check our area. We want to make sure that we've picked up all our garbage, that we've got our napkins, our spoon, any food that may have fallen on the table, any garbage that may have fallen down on the table. We want to check our area, and we want to get that cleaned up as quickly as possible, and then find the nearest trash can to put all of our garbage and our trash in. We really want to work hard on leaving the commons area pristine after we have finished eating our lunch. Once we've finished eating our lunch, we can either remain inside seated at the tables, or we can go outside and we can play on the blacktop, or we can sit on the tables outside, or we can play soccer, we can play football. We can go outside and just hang out and socialize with our friends. But once we're done with lunch, we need to pick one or the other. We don't want kids running around in the commons. There's no standing around in the commons. And so once you've finished eating, you can choose to either remain inside seated at the tables, or if you'd like to, you can go outside and be involved in activities that are going on outside, or you can just simply hang out with your friends, okay? The other thing, we just want to remind everybody to be respectful of others. Be respectful of those sitting around you. Be respectful of our custodians, our lunch ladies, our supervision staff, and be aware that there are other people trying to enjoy their lunch, trying to take a few minutes to just relax. So be respectful of other people. And then just another little reminder to make sure that your phone's off and in your backpack at all times. Okay? Hallways, passing time, making sure we're on time to class. Please, 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 Fossil Ridge students, make sure you are walking at all times in the hallways. Even if it feels like you might be tardy, even if it feels like you want to catch up to your friends, please walk. We want our students and our faculty and our staff to be safe at all times. So we want to make sure that we're walking in the hallways. We're not skipping, we're not running, we're keeping our hands to ourselves. We don't want to be hanging out between classes. So once the bell rings and we leave our current class, we want to get to our new class our next class as quickly as possible. So we're not gathering together in the halls. We're not hanging out in the halls. We're walking between our classes. We're walking and moving from class to class. Be on time to class. We need to be in that classroom once that tardy bell rings because our teachers are ready to go and they want to maximize the time that they have with you. And so we need to make sure that we're there on time. As we're walking down the hallways, stay on the right side of the hallway. Always stay on the right side of the hallway. You've noticed also when you're going up and down the stairs are marked. Make sure that you're going up the upside and down the downside of the stairs. And again, early in the year, sixth graders and students new to Fossil Ridge, there will be people there to help you. And just a reminder to keep your hands to yourself. Once we're in the classroom, some fairly clear and simple expectations that we have here at Fossil Ridge. Number one, we just covered, make sure you are on time to class. Make sure that once you get to the classroom that you are respectful of the other people in the classroom. Treat those people the way you would want to be treated. Respect the teacher. Respect the other students. Respect the fact that the teacher is there to teach and our students are there to learn. Respect the classroom equipment and supplies, whether that's Chromebooks or the desks or books, lab equipment, your own personal belongings, other people's belongings. Make sure that you are following classroom rules, policies, procedures, expectations. Be prepared for class each day and do your very, very best. Be prepared and do your best. That's all we can ask as the adults here at Fossil Ridge. And then remember, keep that phone off and in your backpack. Eventually, if you haven't already, you're all going to be receiving 12 Hall Pass slips. You'll receive these Hall Pass slips every quarter, and these slips will be your tickets out of the classroom. So if you need to use the bathroom, if you need to get a drink of water, if you just need a break, you will present your Hall Pass slips to your teacher. Your teacher will sign them. And then you will get a hall pass from your teacher to go to the restroom, to go get a drink, and you'll be allowed to leave the classroom. Once those 12 slips have been used during the quarter, students will no longer be allowed to leave the classroom unless there's a medical condition that exists that you've talked to your teacher about. At the end of the quarter, if you have any unused hall pass slips, you can use those. They'll be worth 50 cents, and you can use those to purchase items at the school store. So again, students, this is just a quick little orientation to help you with some of our policies and procedures here at Fossil Ridge Intermediate School. If you have any questions about hall pass tickets or classroom expectations or hallway behavior, lunchroom expectations, please, once we're done with this short video, ask those questions of your teacher. Your teacher is there to help you. We are all here to help you be as successful as possible. So if there's something you don't really understand, if there's something you want to ask a question about or something that needs more clarification, please, once this video ends, ask that question of your teacher. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for being so awesome these first couple of days. We're so excited, like I said earlier, for this new school year to start. And as always, it's a great day to be a T-Rex. Now dig in, dig deep, and get it done.